I had no idea what I was getting into when we brought Hot Dog and Pedro home. They weren't your typical pets. Not dogs, not cats, not rabbits. They were exotic, rehomed from a family who didn't realize how much work they would be. The moment I saw them, tiny and trembling in the back of their carrier, I felt two things: fear and responsibility. They looked terrified, as if the world had only ever shown them danger. But they also looked at me with these soft, searching eyes, like they were wondering if maybe, just maybe, this time would be different. And something inside me silently answered, yes. My husband, Daniel, named them. Hot Dog liked to curl up like a sausage when he slept, and Pedro just kind of had that old soul, laid-back vibe. They were skittish at first, flinching from hands, hiding at the sound of footsteps. They didn't eat when we were near. They didn't trust anyone. And honestly, I didn't blame them. So we adjusted. We moved their enclosure into the center of the house so they could hear our voices, feel our presence, get used to the rhythm of our home. I spent hours just sitting nearby, reading or folding laundry, not touching them, just being. Eventually, they started to peek out when we walked past. Pedro stopped darting away the second someone entered the room. Hot Dog began sneaking into the laundry basket to sleep. One afternoon, Pedro climbed onto my lap and curled up like it was the most natural thing in the world. He fell asleep there, completely still, completely trusting. That was the moment everything changed. From that day forward, they were with us constantly. It wasn't enough to sit beside us. They needed to be on us. If I paused while petting, I'd get this hilarious look like, "Excuse me, we weren't done here." We called them our productivity suckers. I couldn't work on my laptop without Pedro walking across the keyboard or Hot Dog nesting in my hoodie. Pablo, our affectionate nickname for Pedro, followed me from room to room. He didn't care where I was going. He just wanted to be part of it. Pedro would tuck himself under the couch or behind a corner, watching everything like a little bodyguard. They became part of every moment. Movie nights, lazy afternoons, even sick days. I started putting them in the front pocket of an oversized hoodie, and they'd fall asleep with their heads poking out, perfectly content as long as I gave them an occasional scratch. We began taking them outside, on small leashed walks, just to let them feel the world a little more. They loved it. Sniffing the grass, listening to birds, soaking in the air like it was the best thing they'd ever discovered. Watching them explore made me slow down too. It made me pay attention to the little things. The texture of leaves, the warmth of the sun, the sound of the breeze. But none of it was easy. Exotic pets come with real responsibility. They need space, care, vet visits, and above all, time. They aren't for everyone. But if you're willing to be patient, to truly show up for them, the bond you'll build is unlike anything else. They surprised us every day with how affectionate they were. People think exotic animals are distant or cold, but Hot Dog and Pedro were the exact opposite. They were clingy, affectionate, stubborn little personalities with big hearts and even bigger emotions. When Pedro yahoos, that means he wants me to come sit with him. When Hot Dog thumps his tail while curled into my hoodie, I know he's settled and doesn't want to be moved. They've taught me so much about presence. They don't need words, just consistency. They trust us now because we gave them the time and safety to believe they could. We never planned for this kind of love. We didn't expect two nervous little creatures to take over our lives, but they did. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. They've brought more joy, laughter, and connection into our home than we could have imagined. They remind me every day that love doesn't always show up the way you expect. Sometimes it arrives quietly, with soft fur and cautious eyes. And if you're lucky enough to earn its trust, it stays. If you're thinking about adopting or rescuing, especially an exotic pet, please do your research. Talk to people who've been there. Learn what they need before bringing them home. And if you're ready, open your heart. Because animals like Hot Dog and Pedro don't just need saving. Sometimes they save you right back. They've taught us about gentleness, patience, and what it means to care for someone fully. They're not just pets, they're family. And they were one of the best choices we've ever made.